the way to go. Eat a fig, not a pig, let your kindness show. If it's your wig or a jig or a swig, do you dig? Big, it's the way to go. It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
When something's fat, there's a lot to show. It's gotta be fat to help the movement grow. Making fat loud chat that won't be flat. It's that, and here's our show. It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
I've just got that vegan glow, like a drag queen calling Patrick Goudreau. I'm a YouTube vegan cooking up good eating. Veganism makes me glow. It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
All right, vegans, all together now. When something's fat, there's a lot to show. It's gotta be fat to help the movement grow. Making fat loud chat that won't be flat. It's that,
it's the way to go.
It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
Hey everyone, welcome to Big Fat Vegan Radio. We're podcasting from East Coast to West Coast to discuss veganism in all of its glory. I am here all by myself for another interview. So today I'm pretty excited. My friend Brian Flegel, who you may have heard of or seen in one of our favorite movies, Vegucated. He's one of the documentary subjects, and it explores, he volunteers to go vegan for 6 weeks, along with 2 other subjects, and the movie follows their journey, and it's really great. I know we've raved about it a million times, and, I wrote a really rave review of it on Vegansaurus a couple years ago when I saw the premiere, so yeah, we just love the movie, and I'm just really excited to have Brian talk about where he is now, and I hope you guys enjoy. All right, so let's just start interviewing you, all right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Is this a good angle? Am I even going to be like on camera?
You know what? It's just me.
It's just a voice
I'm
thing.
the only person that's going to see this.
Oh, awesome. Great.
Unless you want me to take a photo of it, which I could do.
So then I won't even Blair Witch you anymore. I'll go away.
Please don't Blair Witch, because it is
Yeah,
really
I'll go away. See? Now
You're gone. Totally
Yeah.
gone. Well, then I'm going to be gone, too. That's not fair.
I'm going to take all my clothes off.
Oh, my God.
Yep, I am naked.
That was so fast.
Well, everything's tearaway. This was all facade. Basically, just wearing paper. That's what I do for interviews.
I'm just going to kick this off with a fun fact.
Okay.
Brian.
Yes.
So, I saw Vegucated in New York at SVU, which was, I believe, the U.S. premiere.
Yes.
And afterwards, so I only saw the movie the one time in the theater. That time, I've seen it many times since then. But
what a time to see it! That's awesome.
Oh, it was great. It was the best. Plus the crowd. Forget about it. It was awesome.
I know.
So the few months later, I became Facebook friends with you.
Yes.
And I distinctly remember for several months believing your last name was Flegel.
Oh.
I'm sure that happens to you, but
yes, that's awesome.
So then I went to.
It got changed at Ellis Island. It used to be Flegellum, and then it was changed.
Yeah.
We just kind of grew into it.
So just from seeing your name on Facebook, you were Brian Flegel for me for a very long time.
Yes.
And then I went to see the movie again because Cynthia King of Cynthia King Vegan Ballet Slippers, she did a screening at her dance studio, and I went there with some friends. And
awesome.
Then Marisa in the movie introduces you, and I was like, oh, his name's not Flegel.
Yeah, I love the way she says it in the movie. She's like Brian Flegel, like she said, it's all nasally. I love it. It's like there's not a better way to say Flegel than straight through the nose.
Well, so I have to say, I'm such a huge fan of the movie.
Yes.
And it's a little odd to compliment you, to tell you that I think it's a great movie because I know you were just being yourself.
Yes.
But good job. Great job.
Thank
just
you.
Being yourself.
Thank
Very
you.
Entertaining.
Well, I was really happy that it was a good movie, actually. I mean, the whole thing would have been awkward if it was terrible, and it's, but yeah, it just, I was taken aback by how good it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
It's still something that I'm like, very impressed and lucky to be a part of.
yeah, no, I feel the same way because I am, I do movie reviews. I'm really hard on movies. And I'm particularly hard on documentaries. So, I went in with an open mind because obviously I'm a vegan person. I'm going to like this movie.
Right.
But I thought it was, like, fantastic. Like, beyond being a vegan movie, I thought it was just a great documentary.
Well, yeah, it covers all the bases. And it was like,
Yeah.
and it exemplifies the fun we were really having. So I think viewers just kind of, identify one way or another. You don't have to be a single, slightly overweight bachelor guy to identify with me. But it's sort of like, genuine in terms of our process.
Well,
So,
yeah, it's also, I think one of the things about it that I identified with so much as a viewer is that when people ask me, like why I'm vegan, I feel like the movie really captures all the reasons I'm vegan and why I went vegan.
Yes.
Like it really does. It shows it in such a simple way that I'm like, do you see this? This is what happened to me. This is what happened to me. So, and it's incredibly powerful to me that basically what Marisa thought was like, well, what if I just put people through what I went through and see what happens to them?
Exactly.
It's amazing. So
yeah.
I know that you just responded to a Craigslist ad, right?
Well, I have to clarify that because I did not respond to a Craigslist ad. And it's like, yeah, I know it's like behind the music with Brian Flegellum, but it's basically like I knew of Marisa only through a friend of hers, and yeah, like there's a little bit of a soap opera there, and I guess enough of years have gone by that it's not really airing any dirty laundry. But I was asked to just go and be interviewed for this food thing she was doing, and that's all that was explained to me. And I said, well, all right, I like you, and I'll help your friend out, So I went because apparently she wasn't getting a lot of guys.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, if you notice that, yeah, I mean, it's not going to take any shine away from it. But one of the, like the only other guy in like the interview was Frank, who was one of the producers. Like,
oh, look at you.
Yeah. And then there was like me, right? So that was that whole little opening montage. But yeah, apparently guys were not really responding to the whole food or,
Well, that's that whole sexual politics of meat, right? That whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
No, exactly. There's something that you could extract from that. So anyway, I kind of did it as a favor, and once I met her and just kind of like got with her wavelength of dynamics, because she's a really dynamic woman, I kind of just bought into her. And when she called me to say, hey, you want to actually be part of this thing, we're gonna do a whole movie, I said absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's kind of a funny little thing.
Yeah,
setting the record straight on that one.
Well, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering, what I wanted to ask was, so, clearly you got into this. The way you got into it was not like, you weren't like, oh, I am truly interested in veganism.
Right.
So, I mean, was there any part of you that was like, I'm going to end up vegan after I do this?
No, not at all. No, vegan was not even in my vocabulary. I mean, I had a very... I didn't have a conservative upbringing, so it's not like I didn't know about things, but I certainly, didn't ever turn towards these sorts of directions of food choices. Food choices were so bottom on the totem pole, in terms of like, just, I was maybe what I thought was a little bit individual in other parts of my life, but food was totally mainstream. It was just not even a thought. And, when this project kind of came on, I think I did it for somewhat narcissistic reasons. I was just like, this gets me on camera, and
I'll be in a movie, yeah.
Right, I'll be in a movie, and Maurice really attractive, and so
she is.
It's like, all these sort of shallow reasons, and there was nothing in me that was looking for this.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that because I mean, it feels like watching it. It feels like it feels like you are surprised by your own reaction to what's happening to you.
Yeah, it was very organic.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, it's so funny how much I like this movie. I have to tell you, it's
Good.
It cracks me up because whenever people recommend other documentaries, like vegan documentaries, I'm totally rolling my eyes. I'm like, don't watch those movies. Watch Vegucated.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Don't watch Forks Over Knives.
And you know, there's you need to write like a lot of reviews.
I did write a review, a Vegucated review.
You did?
I did, yeah, on Vegan Source right after I saw it.
Oh, okay.
It's old, but
I know the movie's been out for, you know, in terms of like when it was filmed, and then I mean now it's been out for, you know, almost 3 years, and but it was filmed all the way back in 2005, so it's a long time.
I know that is a long time. Yeah, well, I was it's really funny. The whole reason I went to see the movie is because I was reviewing it for Vegan Source, and if I remember correctly, I was totally exhausted because it's back when these little girls that I take care of were babies. And I was covered with baby vomit, and I was totally exhausted, and I had a great time with this movie. Yeah. And so I have to tell the story that Brian snuck me into the after party. That's my big claim to fame here.
I absolutely remember. I think that's the whole reason why this interview is even happening now.
Yeah, it's the whole reason we are friends.
Yes, exactly. But
it was pretty hilarious because that lady working the rope was so mean.
She
was so mean. And my friend Michael was in the party, and he was like, "You've got to get in." And I was like, "I cannot get in. Do you see this big lady? There's no way I'm getting in right now."
And it was like a calf high rope. It was like anybody could
I know, it was like a toddler rope.
Yeah, it totally was. And it was everything it wasn't a separate room. It was
it wasn't even in a separate room. It was in the lobby
for the drink and had a whole conversation. But but it was kind of a funny little circumstance that the whole theme of the event was very let's all come together and enjoy this movie, and everybody's part of this audience, and and that the staff was these little Nazis. I just didn't understand how that, I guess they were used to other film premieres where that's really needed or something.
Well,
I have no
think
idea.
Also they sold tickets for that party, and they didn't want everyone going in because I don't think they had enough provisions for everyone to just walk in.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I mean, I think Ben got in too. I don't know how he got in. He's very charming.
I think he can find his way in.
Yeah, I'm sure he just charmed himself in.
Yeah,
and then he took home 8 Ziplocs of macaroni and cheese. I'm not even joking.
Right, exactly. There was not a
he was hooked up afterwards
of food and drink items. I walked away with I think 3 bottles of vegan wine.
Oh wow. Yeah. Anyway. It's that's one of my favorite moments, that I was really tired, and I'm pretty sure I looked like I'd been hit by a truck and covered with vomit, and I got snuck into a VIP party. That's a great story.
I was like, oh,
look at this vomit covered girl.
Please come in.
She
in
looks
here.
so sad.
Get out of the cold.
Her to the party. So anyway, I know that you just got back from you guys had a reunion, right, in New York? Tell me about it.
We had a reunion, and it's been a while since we've all gotten together. I live in California now, as do you, and I have been meaning to just get back to New York. I mean, New York's always going to have a special place in my heart. So whenever I have a chance to travel anywhere, I always think, well, maybe I can incorporate a couple of days in New York, no matter where I go. And
oh yeah, I do the same thing actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's just and the city has changed, but it's still the city, and so I had this idea that we should all kind of get together and check in, and I sort of planted the seed, and Demetrius and Risa kind of green-lighted it. Demetrius being kind of the main producer guy who took on the whole franchise of it. And I really didn't meet until the film premiere itself, but he really took it on to everything that it is now. So big props to him.
Yeah.
But, they basically put together a whole afternoon, and I more or less just showed up to it, And Marissa's live in the the upper echelons of vegan nobility. She has whittled out a beautiful niche of a life, and she's a new mom.
I
And
know.
her husband's totally cool, and they have a great place. So it was actually raining. We were going to originally have it in Central Park, and we ended up having it in her apartment. And it was catered. God, if I can remember the name of the place, but it's like right near where they live in the upper 80s on the west side, and incredible vegan food. And we all kind of brought little things too. So it was just kind of like a old-fashioned high school reunion sort of feeling, and we all just kind of caught up, and within about 20 minutes or so, we were back to our old shenanigans of, time had not really changed anything. We
Like
were
you didn't miss a beat. I love that.
right. We're all still the same people.
Yeah,
So
that's a great feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So, well, then give us the 411 because at the end of the movie,
Right.
and this is what everybody wants to know.
I was drinking
Not
a can.
everybody is vegan at the end of the movie.
Right.
So tell us what's the 411 with everybody now.
Well, I am straight up vegan.
High five. Skype high five.
Five. Absolutely. I feel that. I wasn't, though, to be perfectly honest. I wasn't when the movie, I was during the movie. I was shortly after the movie, but then I kind of relapsed. I don't want to blame it on a girl, but I'm going to blame it on a girl. I was in like a relationship and she wasn't vegan and and I kind of loosened my convictions a little bit, which fast forward, I will never do again. But I incorporated fish into my diet. So it was all this talk of pescatarian, and now everybody's throwing around pescatarian like it's an actual thing, but I guess it is an actual thing, but it seems kind of ridiculous. And I was one of those people.
Like the mostly vegan thing. It's like, so you're just a person who eats food?
Right, exactly. That's exactly it. And it's like being one, I know exactly how bullshit it is. So like, I feel like I can say it. But but anyway, so I went through that, and it really only lasted roughly about a year, which is a long time. But
Well, I think that's important. I actually think it's really important that you share that because I know that you don't want to blame it on this girl or whatever.
No.
But to me, that's one of the things that's I think important about keeping, because being vegan is important to me, right? And I know it's important to a lot of people.
Yes.
And that's one of the things. If you want to stay vegan, it is important to have people in your life who support that and who understand it. And, Tesla's a great example of that in the film because one of the reasons she struggles so much is because she doesn't have the support.
Right.
You know? And I think it's a really valid thing to say, people who are vegan and have non-vegan partners, it is a struggle. I know it works sometimes. A lot of people can make it work, but it's not without its challenges.
Right, exactly.
And risks.
Exactly. And I think, and it all depends on where you're coming from, I guess. Like for me, it was, the movie was genuine. I had an organic experience. It changed my life. It absolutely turned the light switch on. But I sort of see it now in the larger arc of, 7 years later, as like the actual tilling of the soil. Then what grew out of that was some more of the same choices I had already been making for 28 years. And then what flowered from that was a brand new, beautiful fruits, which is like now my whole path now is straight up vegan. And I don't even think twice about it. I talk about it like breathing air, So I think it all sort of worked together to establish why it's important to make that life choice. And I think I needed to go through that to sort of, come to that process for myself. And everybody goes through their process differently. And it doesn't mean that wherever somebody is now with the understanding of veganism, that they should be chastised, or like, the door should be on them, or they should be judged, or whatever. It's all part of a process of making better decisions, making sort of a larger understanding, which is not always easy. It doesn't happen, overnight, so everybody's in their own little space with that. As long as you're aware of it, I think that's a good thing, and making whatever steps you can. Really long speech.
No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's
but
good.
we all have friends that aren't vegan. I mean,
we all do.
the way we
and
live.
Family members.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, look, I totally hear you, because I say this all the time on the show. My aunt in particular, and my mom also, both, my mom like rehabilitated this totally abused dog and completely saved his life and changed him. And she really cares about dogs. My aunt like runs a small dog rescue, but they both just eat meat like it's nobody's business. Right.
Right.
And they just can't make that connection, even though they're like really avid dog rescuers. And I mean, everything my mom did for her he was like a little trauma dog, and he's like a little prince now. So, I mean, and I know that they get it, but they're just not there yet,
Right.
So everybody has to take, it takes different things for different people.
Yeah.
And I gave my mom Vegucated actually for Christmas.
Oh, nice. Has she watched it?
And she said to me, is there any like footage of like animals
being,
And I said, well, there's some, but it's a really good movie. It's really funny.
Right.
And I think you'll really like it. And she said, I just can't watch.
Okay, well, I think I will come over and watch it with her.
Awesome.
I think that's what needs to happen.
Well, she'd have to if you were there. She'd be forced to.
Yeah, exactly.
I do. My dad did watch it though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your dad watched it. Interesting.
Yeah, I guess she walked in and he was watching it, and she was like, and she walked out.
Really? Yeah. Good. At least it was that movie. You know what I mean?
Of all the things to catch him doing,
she would scream at. But but so interesting. Yeah. I mean, and it's so funny that like people say that, and with like, oh, are there animal images, and it's like, to me, I just hear that as like, is there any truth? Like, yes, there's a lot of truth in the movie.
Yeah, well, it's like,
I can't watch that. I can't watch truth. I can't.
My friend, a friend of mine in New York, one of my girlfriends, I totally remember this. She was waiting for me at Blossom du Jour, which is right by the place we used to both bartend together.
Okay.
And she was just I guess it was late or something, whatever. So she was reading the PETA, like, Meet Your Meat, like, flyer that they have in Blossom du Jour.
Awesome.
And she'd only read like half of it, and it was starting to get into the animal stuff. And I arrived, and she goes, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here. It was just getting the stuff I don't want to read." And I'm like,
right.
But why don't you want to read it? Because you want to live in, you want to not know, because you want to keep not knowing, because it's easier.
Exactly.
It's more convenient.
Exactly.
Even though we are literally next door to where we work getting vegan fast food.
Right. I mean, it's so backwards. You know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, wouldn't you want to know? Yeah,
but change, you know what? It's real. You know what? I really do, because I do have great respect for how difficult change is. Yeah. And also how addicted people are to their habits. Yeah. And food is a big one, I think. I think a lot of people are more addicted to their food habits than they want to admit. Or even want to think about. They don't even want to think, I could be addicted to my food. So, it's making a huge lifestyle change like that. It's something that you do every day. It's a huge deal. So,
well, that's also one of the reasons why I think the movie has such a broad base, is that it doesn't just go in the direction of factory farming, but it sort of touches on the whole sort of, wheel of questions, and it answers them. Mm-hmm. But it does it in a very smooth, kind of palatable, no pun intended, but it's sort of
definitely. I think that
it's
also just so entertaining. I mean, it's a funny documentary.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I like I mean, Ellen is so likable. I mean, all three of you are totally likable and funny, and how can you not enjoy it? It's great.
Exactly.
So that's the other question is, so what's up with the other two ladies?
Right, exactly.
What's their status? Spill the beans.
Tesla is making more vegan choices.
Awesome.
And she married the guy from the movie.
I know.
Yeah.
I love that.
And he's awesome. And he came to the reunion, and and Ellen has completely made like vegan, sort of a whole vegan lifestyle change for herself. I think she's had a couple of bumps in the road, but that's normal.
Oh yeah.
But she is, has totally embraced it. It's not something that she likes to hide. She's very much putting the movie in the front of her because she's also out there in sort of the acting world, and she's a great like person to talk to about it because she's very real with it. And her daughter, funny enough, is the one that's also in the movie, has also kind of like gone down the almost vegan path. So she's like straight up vegetarian, and she does a bunch of meatless Monday things, and she likes
so
all the
cool.
Gardein stuff, and so I think that's kind of cool. So she's kind of embraced it too. So
yeah, that was one of the things at the premiere that made me realize how much time had passed.
Right,
Because they're little kids in the movie, and then they were standing up there with her, and I was like, oh my god, they're like going to college.
Yeah, me too. Like I did shed a tear. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so old. And one solitary tear dropped.
Those people are huge.
Yeah, exactly.
Those small people are humongous.
Yeah. So the but so there that whole like reality of what we went through, I think has had a positive effect on all of our lives, regardless of how strict we've stayed with being vegan. I see it as an absolute life choice that I'll never change, but the movie affected us, and that was real. So to like reconnect with each other again and to sort of touch base, we see how it's kind of stayed as a theme within our lives. And I mean, absolutely, it's affected my life just from talking to you right now, and with tons of people that I wouldn't have known or been a part of, and all these awesome new concepts of vegan restaurants. And I mean, California and New York, dang, like we're doing well out here.
Yeah.
And it's like it's becoming like a worthwhile venture for like investment. Like you read about it on the news, like there's like it's turning into a business.
It is what's up.
Yeah.
It's what's up.
Yeah, it's what's up. Totally. So I kind of feel like that makes me a little more legitimate because I was part of some movie, but it's
totally legitimate. I was gonna say So how do you feel knowing that this movie has made so many people go vegan? What an incredible feeling.
I feel scared. No, I feel really like the way I sort of approach it is I'm always talking about Vegucated. I'm like always getting people to watch it or, talking about it or whatever I can do. But there's also kind of this undercurrent of how it's sort of affected, and not just Vegucated, but just how other movies, I mean, Earthlings is a really intense one, but there's Forks Over Knives too. And there's just
Forks Over Knives is boring.
Yeah, it is. It's a little boring, but it's still interesting. I mean,
it is interesting.
Yeah.
It's totally boring.
Yeah, you're so funny. You're like, I'm not doing a show on Forks Over Knives.
I'm not. Yeah. I'm not having those people
exactly.
on.
I mean, you're the guy from Vegucated. What's going on? But like my whole sort of like sense of what's going on right now is that it's becoming somewhat in the like collective consciousness, and a lot of young people are just okay with it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like, they're making a conscious decision to say that they're vegan, but they're just like eating at places and not thinking about it. Like you go to Veggie Grill, and you've been to Veggie Grill. You go to Veggie Grill, and if you were to take a poll of anybody in that restaurant at any given time, most of them would not consider themselves vegan. But the place is
also a huge percentage
people.
Of the staff isn't vegan.
Right. Well, I know, but I take that as a good thing.
Oh, I agree. Totally.
Yeah. And I mean, I see that as like this. I mean, that's how things happen, right? There's like kind of you can call it a cultural shift, or you can call it like kind of a a
Shift
collective
in
consciousness
consciousness.
shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there is definitely something in play that is not only kind of turning it into something kind of cool, but it's also just turning into something normal. And that's kind of what I'm like super excited about. Like, I feel like Vegucated is more for like right now at this point, 3 years later after it's really been out there, is really more for like people that are maybe like our age, or but like the young people, they're already getting it. You know what I mean? Like, it's already like kind of a thing. And so I think that's kind of interesting and good.
You think you're totally right. I mean, I just read that there's an elementary school in New York, in Queens, that's going all vegetarian. They're not even serving meat.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because they said that they were serving vegetarian options, and they noticed that's what all the kids wanted. So they just eliminated meat, and now they're just doing all vegetarian options.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Right?
Awesome. Yeah.
Totally.
Like,
it's the future.
Yeah.
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 Well,
you wrote about that on Vegan Source?
About what?
About that school?
No.
I think you need to.
I read about it. I just think somebody else wrote about it.
Yeah, but you could write about it too.
I mean, I could.
I feel like I just found out, and there's tons of people that should know.
You just found out.
Yeah, I just found out. You told me. So Vegan Source told me.
Well, you should listen to Big Fat Vegan Radio, because I'm pretty sure we covered it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just called me out.
It's fine. Please. I don't, I mean, it's like, this always happens. I interview somebody, and then like 3 days later, they're like, I'm listening to your show. I love it.
Exactly. I sound so great on it. Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm glad that you finally decided to check it out.
There's more than my episode.
After you agreed to be on it.
Exactly.
Because it could have been a horrible show that you agreed to be on.
Well, you guys have really done a lot of cool stuff.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. But you guys have done some like crazy, like, live improv shows in front of people, and
yeah, we're trying to do that more. That's a goal of mine. The thing
that's a good energy.
We're both, we both have jobs, and we're very busy, right. And also he's a drag queen,
right?
It's a lot, and but I would really like to get to a point where we're going to more veg fests and doing it more. So I'm trying. We're gonna. That's a goal, but we'll see what happens. I mean, it's hard to like travel that much and do shows. Of course. Yeah. But
that was also my way of letting you know I've seen some episodes.
Oh, I see that. Oh.
Yeah.
Did you watch the live show?
Absolutely. I watched the live show. That's why I know about it. Yeah.
All right. Well, we danced.
Yes, you did.
We danced.
Yes, you did.
I actually am pretty sure I injured my knee doing that.
Really?
Yes.
It's so worth it. Kidding me?
Yeah.
Whatever episode you have to do in a wheelchair, or just that's like your Medal of Honor.
Yeah. I mean, it just means that I was really into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, it's what matters, basically.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Brian, I feel like I could just talk to you the rest of the night.
Of course.
But
this is a lot of fun.
It's just great to have you on. And, I mean, is there anything that we can tell our listeners so that they can stalk you and know everything that's going on in your life? Do you have any projects in the works?
Well, I'm very interested in like pursuing a Vegucated sandwich book.
I was gonna say, you are the sandwich king.
Yes, that was part of the reason of me setting up the reunion, was just to like plant that seed. And find out if I could even use the name Vegucated. Apparently I can, so booyah.
Nice.
But yeah, I think that, even though I was talking about big general things like, everybody's kind of being okay with veganism, I think that there's that whole untapped market, which is like guys, right?
Yes.
And straight guys are just, there's a lot of walls that need to, be climbed, and for them to understand things. And I think sort of representing that as an archetype, I think it's kind of my duty to kind of talk to that. And
I think that's awesome, because honestly, it is a problem.
Yes.
I mean, it's a huge problem. For some reason, like, men think that like if they stop eating meat, like they won't have a penis anymore.
Right.
Like, I don't know what that's about.
The crazy thing is you actually get a bigger penis. It's unbelievable. It's seriously, you don't know how many supermarkets have been like, "Sir, you cannot steal that cucumber." I'm like, I'm not stealing any cucumbers. But the
You know how many people just went vegan because of you?
right, exactly. Well, I mean, it's, big penises aside, that's for you, honey. But there is a reality of like a more like vegetable based diet is just having your body operate at a more optimum level.
Yeah.
So whatever you got going on is just going to work better.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, if you want to be a guy and you want to feel cool and you want to feel like you're really, giving it a go, you should become vegan. It's just,
yeah, and you would think that all those, I mean, because the men who are vegan athletes that are like that vegan guy who just won the bodybuilding competition in Austin.
Right.
You know, I can't even look at him. It's like blinding.
Yeah, but you keep looking at him.
Yeah, I do keep looking at him. It's really true.
You do. It's like his poster's over your bed. And
can you see that can you see that right now?
Oh yeah, I did. I saw
You saw it.
Yeah, it took you
I'm
off.
so embarrassed.
Yeah.
No, but it's and like, Brendan and Rich Roll and all those guys who are like running marathons, winning Ironman competitions on vegan diets.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's exactly
how
right.
do you get more, it's just this obsession with masculinity, which is a larger problem anyway, I think, besides the vegetarianism. But for some reason, that's a big part of it.
Yeah. Well, the masculinity thing got screwed up so long ago.
I know.
And it's just like, and it's so easy to kind of fix with a few adjustments. And one of them being like what you eat. Because if you want to like, just have better blood flow, more energy, just better stamina, like you just look better, you feel younger. I mean, it's like on and on and on and on and on and on, right? And it's like,
yeah,
that is just makes you not a better man, but it makes you a better human, right?
Yeah, but because it's not about being a man, right? That's the whole point.
Yeah. It makes better women too. It just makes better
people.
Better people.
Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, I think it's true for both you and Ellen. I remember when you guys came out after we watched the movie, it was like they look younger.
Right.
They look. This was made like 7 years ago. They both look better.
No, totally.
Yeah,
totally. And that's a huge reality.
Yeah.
And that was like a good visceral, step for me was just seeing what was going on with myself.
Mm-hmm.
There was all this stuff that we were going through in terms of information, and there was a very intellectual level, and then on top of that, a very emotional level. But then just seeing, the actual changes in what was happening in terms of our waistlines and our, skin and, just our energy. That was just sort of like a big, like, gut, yes, this is correct,
Yeah.
sort of understand that.
I can't imagine being able to watch that journey. It's got to be something else. I can't believe I said journey like I'm on The Bachelor or something.
Yeah, I know, right?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, well, that's okay. It's okay. You have a lot of crossover, I'm sure, between Bachelor viewers and, Big Fat Vegan Radio. But But it's absolutely right. I'm very lucky in a really, it's a really weird thing, but it's also a really cool thing that I actually have a whole like life-changing event that was filmed. Like not a lot of people have that.
You know what I mean? Really like something else.
It's like sometimes I just hit myself. I'm like, what the, it's like, unless you end up on that show like, where they're giving people like the trip to rehab or whatever.
Intervention.
Yeah, intervention. Yeah, I mean those.
Wow, yeah.
Those. Yeah, I'm sure. I hope they give those tapes to them. But like it's still pretty cool to go through all of this and share it with everybody. I'm a lucky guy.
Oh well, we're lucky you were in that movie because I gotta tell you, you're an entertaining fella.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't say that lightly because
really
I have a high bar of entertainment. Yeah.
You grill people until they cry on the radio. I know that.
I mean, you can just know that like I don't think that many people are funny, and
right.
I don't like very many people, so
yeah.
Feel complimented.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, well, I'm gonna let you go.
All right.
Off to your
Laura,
dinner.
High five again.
Dude, totally high five. Is so fun to have you on. I
Absolutely.
wanted to do it forever,
I hope it's going to be a good show. You know, it felt like it just blew by. But
it's going to be a fantastic show.
Right.
It's cool.
Awesome.
Right. Well, I can't thank you enough. I feel like you're like a real vegan star. I got you.
You're kind of a vegan star.
I am. I'm like B. I'm like B-list.
No.
You're sweet. Melissa always says that to me too. She's always like, "You're somebody." And I'm like, "Oh, go on." All right. Well, hey, I'm stoked in the sandwich book.
Yes, it's an actual thing.
If you need a sandwich tester.
There's my doorbell.
All right. Well, you get going, and I will talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Well, that was a whole lot of fun. I just want to encourage everyone to check out the movie Vegucated. You can watch it on Netflix or get it on iTunes. You can also purchase a copy of the DVD at getvegucated.com. It also makes great gifts for family and friends. I just want to remind you all to please be in touch with us. Let us know what you thought of this episode. You can give us a call at 315-VEGAN-01. That's 315-834-2601. You can email us at bigfatveganradio@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook as Big Fat Vegan Radio. Please consider becoming a member. We are solely member supported. Just go to bigfatveganradio.com and click on support us for a list of ways you can help us do what we do. Some even cost nothing at all. Follow both of us on Twitter at LaBronx and Laura Yaz. We're also both under the same usernames on Instagram. Also, check us out on YouTube. You can watch 3 Minutes About a Movie at youtube.com/Laura Yaz, and you can watch Honey LaBronx's Vegan Drag Queen cooking show at thevegandragqueen.com. Also, be sure to grab yourself some famous medieval oil at www.medievaloil.com. Also, just for fun, I'll give my own daily tip of medieval oil use today. If you put a few drops in a hot bath, it's really great. As always, we need to make a big shout out to Michael Harren, the composer behind our fantastic theme song. You can check out his work at michaelharren.com, and Kelly Huffine, the artist behind our logo and character design. You can check out her artwork at kelly42fox.deviantart.com. We need to give a big special thanks to our official sponsor, Sunshine Vila. Thank you so much, as always, for your support, Sunshine. That's all we've got for today for Big Fat Vegan Radio. Please subscribe through us through iTunes or your podcatcher of choice. It's extra helpful if you can give us an awesome rating and a glowing review. And be sure to let us know what you thought of this episode on our Facebook page. Send us a tweet, leave us a voicemail, or post a comment at bigfatveganradio.com. We love to hear from you. Thanks for listening, everyone. Oh, and Brian, could you help me with something?
Go
vegan!
Vegan!
Nice.
A little bit of an echo. That was good.
Okay, you want to say something? Say something into the microphone. You can say hello. Go like, see, look at Nanny. Copy Nanny. Go, hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Don't touch this. This is a pop filter. Can you say pop filter?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Can you say, how are you doing?
I'm doing.
Can you say, go vegan?
Coming.
That's pretty good.